Bad start sparks first major change at Mercedes leadership in 2 years. Mercedes is bringing back engineer James Allison to the Formula One team, who returns as technical director. The British had held the position between 2017 and 2021, when he went to take care of other projects, being replaced by Mike Elliott. After the team decides to fully overhaul its car after only one race in the 2023 championship, the two will reverse their positions. When Allison stepped down as technical director, Mercedes were fighting for what would be their 8th consecutive constructors' title, a record in F1 history. From the 1st of July 2021, he took on a newly created position that was above technical direction, but which, in practice, took him out of the day-to-day life of the F1 team and allowed him to focus on boat racing. With Ineos at the America's Cup, the Brit started his career at Benetton in the early 1990s and went through Renault and Ferrari before joining Mercedes in 2017. He had walked away from F1 after experiencing a personal tragedy, with the sudden death of his wife, and had decided to leave Maranello to live with their 3 children in England. When the first rumors of Allison's return began to emerge, Toto Wolff said the engineer was not involved in the F1 project, although he was part of the long-term strategy decision-making process. James is still very important in our organization. But in terms of the difficulties that we have, I don't think it's a question of one person, it's more of finding the right people for the roles that we need. A few days later, he reappeared in a team video explaining details of the Australian GP. And he is even returning to occupy the position of head of the technical staff in Elliott's place, under great pressure after commanding 2 projects in a row that did not yield what Mercedes had hoped. What further complicated the situation for Elliott was having paid for the maintenance of the concept that had already given Mercedes a lot of headaches in 2022. Lewis Hamilton even publicly said that the engineers did not listen to him about some criticisms he made of the last year's car and kept elements that weren't working, like weight distribution and an FE-limiting suspension. Wolff was also highly critical of the car since it became clear that Mercedes had not made the leap they had hoped for and, worse, was starting the year behind customer Aston Martin. What is said behind the scenes is that the boss of Mercedes also questioned the technical staff several times and heard assurances that there was nothing fundamentally wrong with the car. It would just be a matter of building on what they already had in hand. According to statements by the boss of Mercedes to motorsport.com, Elliott suggested the reversal of roles, since Allison would have a more suitable profile to occupy the role of technical director and have more influence in the development of the car. Mercedes has already started reviewing the car and will bring the first news in the next stages. Allison said that the changes will not only be aerodynamic. We are working on bringing mechanical parts to the car, some different components for the suspension that we believe will improve the balance of the car, make it more predictable to give drivers more confidence to push to the limit. For the next stage, which will be held in Azerbaijan next week and will be the first sprint of the season, Mercedes' focus will be on setting up the car, as there is only one session before the car enters parc ferme and can no longer be driven. Modified for the remainder of the weekend.